2014 was a big year for Garland ISD, with 2 campuses earning National Blue Ribbon Schools Awards and voters approving a $455.5 million bond election. I'm here with Superintendent Bob Morrison to look back over the year and to look forward to what 2015 might bring. Dr. Morrison, what would you say was Garland ISD's focus in 2014?
I think the focus has remained the same that it is today, what it always has been, which is students. When you look at the strategic plan, we have over 50 initiatives that deal with students academically, looking at finances in the district, making sure we're accountable to our taxpayers. We also had a bond election, which you mentioned. There's going to be a lot of exciting changes happening in the next 5 to 6 years. Additions to schools, fine arts programs, new choir and band rooms at middle schools and high schools, new technology, hands-on, one-on-one technology for students. I think all of those things, if you put it all into a nutshell, if you look at everything, it all focuses back to kids, which is what it's supposed to. I think as long as the district stays focused on kids, 2014, absolute success.
And looking back, what would you say were some of the district's biggest accomplishments? We mentioned the Blue Ribbon Schools Awards. Anything else that you would say were defining moments?
Well, I think anytime you go and ask your taxpayers to support a bond initiative that is $455.5 million, as you mentioned, and they did it overwhelmingly. 62% of the voters said yes, and I think that says a lot to how the public feels about Garland education, the education provided by our teachers. Our teachers do a wonderful job. And when I look at accomplishments, I look at it down at the campus level. There's always big initiatives that the district will implement, Skyward, the new student management system, but what does that do? It was designed to help students, teachers, and parents. Parents have greater access to the students' grades. Teachers have easier access from home to the grading system, students being able to access their grades at any time. I think all of our initiatives have one central focus, and it always goes back to what are we doing to empower the parents, what are we doing to help the teachers, and what are we doing to improve the education for students.
You mentioned Skyward. Tell me some more about some of the other initiatives that have been implemented in 2014.
Well, we finished the first year of our intervention program at elementary, and our test scores were wonderful at the elementary schools. We were very pleased with that. We also have changed some of our benchmarking a little bit. We do enough testing in Texas, and we can assess students without over-testing. And so we have different benchmark tests for students. We reduced the number of tests that we give. We want students to get back in this district to appreciating what education really is about. That's discovering things, wondering what it would be like to do this or to do that. I think sometimes we get so focused on a test. We need to get back to the fundamentals of really what school is like. I think, I don't know what your niche was when you were in school, but I've always mentioned a couple times, I was in sports and I was also in choir, and those are the memories I have, my algebra test in 9th grade, don't remember. Actually 8th grade, but I don't remember. But I do remember my 8th grade basketball coach. I remember my choir director in my sophomore year in high school. Those people make impacts in lives. And I think as educators, we always have to realize our greatest accomplishment is making an impact on students. When they look back on school, yes, we're going to provide a quality education. Yes, we want our students to be college ready or career ready, whatever their focus needs to be. We want to accomplish those things. But more importantly, we want them to fit in while they're here. We want them to feel like they've accomplished something in high school. You don't have to be the star, athlete or the drum major. You don't have to be the person. You just have to be somebody that is included and everybody feels accepted. And I think that's what that's what all schools should be, from elementary all the way to high school.
So looking forward, in 2015, you mentioned the focus will always be about kids, but is there any other focus that we're going to have in the coming school year?
Well, I think the bond and the strategic plan are going to drive the focus. I think there's going to be some different initiatives come off of those things. We're going to look at bell schedules. That'll be up for discussion in the fall of next year. But we're also, secure entrances at our campus is one of the things that our patrons told us in designing the bond program. Safety and security of kids were critical. And so we're going to start seeing those kind of changes at our campuses this summer. We will have an online component to our bond program where our parents and our people in the community, they can track campus by campus, the start date and the end date of every project at every campus. And I think that's going to be a lot of the driving force. The new technology, we're probably a year and a half away from the one-on-one technology at the high school, and then a year after that being at the middle school. But we start here in January and February designing an auditorium and a career tech center. And those two projects will take 6 to 9 months to design, and then we'll start breaking ground on those. And in 2 to 3 years, probably about 3 years from now, we'll be having a building dedication and having programs that this district's never had before.
So anything we can look forward to in 2015 as far as programs that might be implemented?
We're looking, last year we had NIMSI, which did the National Math and Science Initiative, and we had 4 of our high schools, got a grant from Texas Instruments, received a grant from Texas Instruments. And, we're still trying to find somebody. We're working really hard to include the other 3 high schools in that program. One of the things I'm a firm believer in is you want to sustain things over time. Intervention 2 years ago was new, but this year it's not new, and it'll be and we will continue to improve it next year, but it's still going to be there. What you want to do for consistency for the parents and the students, if you want to show academic growth, you have to be consistent in the things that you're doing. So it's not necessarily always about what new you're doing. It's how you refine it. We added AVID at all of our middle schools and high schools this year. That was a great accomplishment. We're one of the very few districts in the United States that have it at all middle schools and all high schools. And we actually added it at 12 of our elementary schools. We added elementary art teachers this last year, 7 of them. And we're going to add another 6 or 7 next year. Until after 4 to 5 years, we'll have elementary art back at all of our campuses. Again, a program that impacts students. And I think, we have some things that are long range that it's going to take a little bit of time, just from budgetary. You want to be frugal with your money. You don't want to overspend. So you implement things in a slow process. But over time, what's going to happen, 3 to 4 years from now, this district will have art in every elementary school. It will have AVID at every elementary, middle school, and high school. High school kids and middle school kids will be walking the halls with some kind of iPad-type device. Libraries at our high schools will be open at night for kids to have access to do their projects. All sorts of things that'll look completely different, but the primary focus on the education of the students.
And so the decisions behind bringing in art in every campus and NIMSI, and what's your passion for the reason you think these are so important?
I think what you have to do is our job. I always say this when I talk to the high school students and stuff. My job as superintendent is when you walk across stage, when you graduate, when I shake your hand, that you're prepared for whatever you decided you wanted to be prepared for. If college was your focus, then did we do our job? If a career or in a career tech industry was your focus, did we do our job to prepare you for that? All of these type of programs, you don't think art. Well, what's art? Well, graphic design, computer animation. All those artistic, creative things that you're learning all the way down in kindergarten may be in a high school program that you're not even thinking about. And many of the jobs that existed, that exist today didn't exist even 10 years ago. I always go back to an iPad, and this is always I find it very interesting. We're so used to iPads now. I think the iPad came out in 2010, if I'm not mistaken, maybe at the end of 2009. But it seems like it's been here forever. What's going to be 5 years from now? What's the new device? What's the new in technology integration? How are we as a district going to stay on top of that to make sure we're providing our students with the greatest possible access to what's out there? And that's the challenges.
Do you see any other challenges from maybe the state or community-based, charter schools coming in? Any other thing that we might have to consider as we move forward next year? Any time the legislators go to Austin, there's always going to be change, so you can get ready for that. And they'll change maybe the funding a little bit or some of the academic requirements. But that's just part of the process, as far as that goes. So that's something that we're used to in education. Every 2 years, it's going to change a little bit, so get ready for it. As far as charter schools go, I don't really focus on the charter schools, to be honest with you. There's not a charter school that can offer everything that we offer: international baccalaureate,
associate's programs, Mandarin Chinese, global business, math and science, high school like North Garland, not even to count our academies at our middle schools and our elementary schools. And so, you know, each of those charter schools may have a niche, but they have one niche. We have them all.
And so if there's anything else that you would like to say as far as, you know, what would you say to the community or parents or anybody just, you know, about Garland ISD?
The most important thing about parents, stay involved. You know, my background was high school principal. I spent most of my time in junior high and high school, whether I either teaching or as a teacher or as an administrator before I moved in to central office. And I think the biggest mistake parents make, they're very involved in elementary school, which is great, and then they tend to distance themselves in middle school and high school thinking, well, the kids are older, they don't want me around as much. That's when they need you the most. Never drop, I always tell parents, never drop a student off at a football game. You don't know if they're there for 3 hours, you know, trust and verify. I always tell that, you know, and it's one of those things where you sit there and you think, you know, I want our students to be successful. They're not going to be successful without parental input. One of the things House Bill 5 did is it required all of our counselors to meet every year with every parent and every kid. That's a great requirement. We added a high school counselor this year so we can make that happen at each of our high schools. So sometimes the state has a mandate and you think, well, was that a good idea? Getting the parents to be involved in high school is a great idea. I think that's the missing link. We do a great job, our parents do a great job. You can go to any elementary PTA meeting and they're full, and you get up to middle school and high school and the attendance goes down. And that's when the attendance should be the greatest. And I think that's the greatest challenge, is to keep those parents feeling like we want them there. Because we do. We want their input, we want them involved. And I think if we can overcome that, then I think we'll be doing very well in the future.
Last question.
Okay.
What would you say that you want the image of Garland ISD to be? When someone looks at Garland ISD, what do you hope that they see?
A caring school district, academic excellence, provides opportunities, endless opportunities for kids. You know, you think about the Career Tech Center. There's going to be programs in that Career Tech Center that we don't currently offer. We don't offer a culinary arts program district-wide. That will be in the Career Tech Center. That's just one program, computer animation or graphic arts or a pre-engineering academy or things like that. There's all sorts of programs that are going to be coming, and I think that's the most exciting thing, you know, when it comes to the future, is the district will be, its fundamental core of what the people in this community believe will stay the same, but will evolve as we offer different opportunities and more opportunities for students in the future.
Thanks for your time, Dr. Morrison. We appreciate you speaking with us, and there's exciting things coming, and we look forward to what they'll bring.